I started trying to focus on filling this hole that I didn't know I had in my heart. That's about when the depression started really taking hold of my life. I just kept thinking, is this it? Am I dead? Am I gone? I was born in Oklahoma City, 1982. We moved here when I was 3, to Springdale, Arkansas. Childhood was kind of rough. There was some sexual sin entered into my life at a young age. That memory of those times were in my mind for as long as I can remember through my childhood. It always seemed like God was like this dude up here, and he never did care about me, really. And all that stuff in the Bible, that was for back then. My thin relationship with God started to get wider and wider and wider until where it was just an afterthought. This depression was slowly creeping into my life, and I felt more and more distant from my family. I guess you would call me the black sheep. And so I started to take on that persona, and I started to rebel. If I didn't have the money to buy the stuff that made me feel better, I would steal it. I hurt my parents over and over and over again. And it just seemed like this cycle that was building up. It was like the depression would kick in. I would steal to feel better, or I would buy something to feel better, and then it would start all over again. Life got overwhelming, and I went to Walmart and I wrote a hot check for some sleeping pills. Had a bottle of vodka at my house and took a bottle of sleeping pills and drank half a bottle of vodka and went to sleep. A couple days later, I woke up. Fast forward to 25, I'll just move away and find myself, I'll hitchhike, I'll do whatever it takes. And I'm like, I'm going to move to Portland, Oregon. Yeah, in Portland, I was at a restaurant and overhear these two guys talking about the Razorbacks. Duke started investing in my life. 2008, and the housing market collapses. And I'm waiting for my last paycheck. It still hasn't come in, and that cycle was still a very big part of my life. And so I didn't have any money. And so I was prepared to be homeless. One night, we're handing out soup and washing feet of the homeless community, giving haircuts, anything to help them out, clothes. And I bump into this kid, and his face was burnt. There was just something about him that I wanted to hear his story. And then this small voice in the back of my head's like, that's Jesus. That's when it really sunk in. I walked home in the cold, and I dropped on my knees on my broken down couch, and I just gave my life to Christ that night. God started breaking those walls down in me, and it was painful. Having to live in that's the big thing that God was teaching me, is to live in it. And that's when God just kept showing me his grace and his mercy, and got back to Arkansas when I was working at Arcegas. One day I was outside smoking a cigarette, and this old man with red glasses came up to me and was like, those things kill children and other people? Trying to be funny. But then I started seeing that guy, that old man, every night. Ends up being Travis Jenkins. And I saw in Travis what God is. Like, he is the Father that cares about us. And he cares about my day, and he cares about my hurt, my joy, and everything. It doesn't matter. He was a huge part of getting me back into church. So now Kelsey and I have been married. It'll be 3 years in June, and God has led us to discipleship, doing small groups. I've got stuff going on every night of the week that is God focused. It's not fully restored, and I don't think it ever is fully restored until Jesus comes back. We are on the road to restoration. My family, I feel it, is on the road to restoration, and I'm so proud of my parents because they're here. They are coming to Mosaic, and they're getting engaged, and I can't wait to see what God does in their lives. and mine and Kelsey's.